The Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew, the 5th chapter. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus said to the disciples, "You have heard that it was said to those of ancient times, 'You shall not murder, and whoever murders shall be liable to judgment.' But I say to you that if you are angry with a brother or sister, you will be liable to judgment. And if you insult a brother or sister, you will be liable to the council. And if you say, 'You fool,' you will be liable to the hell of fire. So when you are offering your gift at the altar, if you remember that your brother or sister has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First, be reconciled to your brother or sister, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accusers while you are on the way to court with him, or your accuser may hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you will be thrown into prison. Truly, I tell you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny. You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than for your whole body to be go into hell. It was also said, 'Whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce.' But I say to you that anyone who divorces his wife except on the ground of unchastity causes her to commit adultery. And whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Again, you have heard that it was said to those of ancient times, 'You shall not swear falsely, but carry out the vows you have made to the Lord.' But I say to you, do not swear at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let your word be yes, yes, or no, no. Anything more than this comes from the evil one. The gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. You may be seated. Oh, friends, did you notice as you're hearing today's reading? Did you know that the gray hair is the gift from God? So I was reading this part, just about, just where the Bible thing, and it goes like, Jesus said, "You cannot make your hair black or whatever your color is, or what, And it goes like, oh, I did not realize till now that gray hair, when I find it, it's a gift from God. So just remember that part. And that's all I talk about the gospel reading today. It is a little challenging reading, and if you have any thoughts or you want to talk about it, I'm available. So just call me with my new phone, text me with my new phone, or email me, or you can just find me, because there are lots more need to go what was happening at the time, to have little sense what he's talking about. So I'll leave the gospel reading that way. Instead, during the season of Epiphany, you may remember we have lifting up the different ministries throughout the season. And you may remember we lift up the Lutheran Church youth with their camp hug. That that's offering a camp for this special need kids. And we hear the scripture the same day of this story of John's compelling testimony about Jesus, which led to the Andrew and other disciples to follow Jesus and get to know him. And also the week after, we learned about the Holy Grounds ministry, the free coffee one. They'll give out the free coffee when you get there. And we also hear the story of the Jesus telling this new community through the words of the Beatitudes. And the last Sunday, you may remember, Kurt was here telling us about this Restoration Chapel ministry. And we also heard about Jesus calling us our identity as the salt of the earth and the light of the world. This is the last Sunday. We lift up one more ministry of South Carolina Synod, which is, did any of you have some chance to watch the video posted on Facebook page or the YouTube channel? Neil, you did. Tell us what we are listening up today.
We talked about the mission to Japan, which actually was started by a congregation I once attended for several years when I was in medical school, St. John's Lutheran Church in Charleston. It sponsored the missionary to first go there. So that was pretty cool.
Very good, Neil. That's covered the 1/3 of the sermon now. Very great. So if you did not have a chance to watch it, it's on the Facebook page and YouTube channel. So as Neil said, we are lifting up the ministry of the missionaries to Japan. That's the Japan Evangelical Lutheran Church. And I need to tell you that is the church I was baptized and I was nurtured. And to me, the ministry towards the Japan Evangelical Lutheran Church is so close to my heart and so dear to me. And that is the one main reason, strongly, I really wanted to come to South Carolina. Because, as Neil mentioned, this is a synod. This is the state who really sent the first missionary to Japan. So I am so grateful for the opportunity I can share the story with you this morning. And as Bettina mentioned at the beginning, today's sermon is interactive. So that I would like you to take a part of tell the story of the missionaries to Japan. And some of you got the envelope, I believe. And some of you, one got the scroll or in the St. Nicholas, they call it the diploma in there with the ribbon on. Yes, maybe that's what you're holding on. And we will use those to be a part of the service. And let's start with the basic things that what we need to know. This one, I need a volunteer who has a very good eyes, who could read the small print. Come on up. Hold this one. This is a thing called the globe. So I need Philip to find Japan in this globe and point out to the one. It's a small print, that's why I said I need somebody with a good eyes. You need to, if somebody can give you Ethan, you want to help and give them? No. give the sound.
Stop. You're looking at Asia.
Give some sense which part of in the globe will be. Which part is that?
East of China.
You found it? East of China? Yes, great. So that's where Japan is. Okay, next is the harder one. Could you point out with this globe where the South Carolina is?
Oh, that's easy.
South Carolina is there. So see where the Fairfax will be.
Oh, yeah.
That's a little small.
But that's way too small.
That is a little really small, and the figure is a little bigger than.
I can see Columbia.
You can see Columbia, great. So see where the South Carolina is, and just envision where the Japan is. You can show that how far it is. From there to all the way Japan is there. It's like almost a half of the globe. That is the distance. And that's where the missionary traveled in that far to get there. Thank you. So now we get that one. You may go back now. If it's needed more help, I will ask around and see if we will come up. Great. So that's now you see where those locations were. It's pretty far away. It's like 14 hours difference in the time-wise, I believe. But let's change it all the time. I can't remember. I think it's 14 hours now. So that's what it is. And then let's go to page 2. Here. So our story goes back to 131 years ago, which was in 1892. That is the year the first missionary was arrived in Japan. To tell the story of the missionary, 2 Sundays ago, I used the visual image, and Becky came afterwards and said, I kind of liked it. And you know what? I kind of like it to prepare those things. It's fun too. So I got the visual image to use it. To do the visual image, I would like to dwell us on with just the one verse for today's reading, from the second reading for today. And that is, somebody gets a scroll of our theme verse today. It's only one.
You got the scroll.
You got the scroll. Show everybody, Deborah. And somebody read it out loud.
Paul planted, Apollos watered, but God gave growth.
Paul planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. Imagine how that will look like. And I made my little ones. Oh, I broke it.
It's loose.
If I envision that the Bible verse, I will make like this. I told you I'm a daughter of the art teacher. So what is this? Good. And ground. Very good. I think I'm doing good for this artwork. How about that one? Water and? Thank you. I don't know about the science teacher in the room. I'm not sure I was correct either way how to plant the seed out there. There is a certain way you have to plant it, I was told when I was in school. You have the side or the top or whichever side it was. Might be not right. You tell me later. I don't know. So that's how it is. So as the scriptures said, Paul planted, Apollos watered, and God gave the growth. So we'll talk about who is the seed who plants the seed to ground. Those who have the envelope, there's some names in the envelope that what we putting out there. Neil, do you remember from the video the names of the first two missionaries sent out from St. John's?
The name,
Yeah,
is it Peary?
very good. Peary, somebody got the Peary. You got Peary, bring it up in the front. Take out close to the seed. So we can see it. And do you remember the other name, one more? You do not.
No.
The other one was Sherry. Let me spell out for you. Those names are hard. We always call Shiri Sensei, but that would be not. Jabscherer. You got that? Okay. Bring it up. And tape it close to the seed so that we could see those people who got the seed. Yes, Steve, thank you. So these are the two missionaries, Peary and Sherry, that they came to Japan, sent it in 1892 from their mission at St. John's in Charleston. So now we see what the ground will be look like, where they went to. Some of you got with the envelope with the yellow square sheet of paper, which has the name of the town that they are sent to.
Kumamoto.
You got that? Say it. There are the two.
Saga Kumamoto.
Great, you can speak Japanese. Bring it up. Bring it up. Let's put on the soil part so we can see it.
Whereabouts?
Wherever it's on the soil, it doesn't matter. That's the only thing we'll get. Okay, so it stays okay, good. So that the saga is the first place they are sent to. So if we look at this globe of the tiny one, the saga will be, oh, it's so small, here we go. That's Tokyo in here, and like here. So Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan, here. And Saga is here in this island, separate island called Kyushu, which is close to South Korea. That's where they are sent to. In those days, when the missionary comes, there is the organized mission society in Japan, so that whenever the foreign mission comes, they will tell, why don't you go this area? Why don't you go to Sendai? Why don't you go to Nagano? Why don't you go to Hiroshima? And that way, so that those missionaries comes around in Japan, not competing each other, but they will be sent out to different locations, so that Lutherans are latecomers. So that area nearby, the Tokyo area is already taken up, so they suggested to go. Not many people have gone that far in southwest of Japan. Why don't you try there? So that's why they went to a prefecture called Saga. That's where first they started. In the first year, they had a little success of their ministry, that they were able to have the first Japanese Lutheran worship service on Easter Sunday in the following year. And they were able to translate August Blue Confession. That is the things for the Lutherans. That's what's one of the statements, what we believe. They translate it into Japanese, which is the big thing. Big thing of the missionary work. So they accomplished something in the first year. However, the road was very rough out there. The account I have read about the missionary story was that the people are very harsh on them. They're even throwing the eggs at their house, the raw eggs at them. And people really did not like them around. So what happened is that they decided to try the different town, which is Saga is little north, Kumamoto is just down of the south of the prefecture. So they decided to go to prefecture called Kumamoto. That's where I'm from, and that's where mysteriously that the works of God start to grow like this. You may have heard that St. Matthew Lutheran Church in Cameron, South Carolina, which is the oldest Lutheran church in South Carolina Synod, they gave quite a money to build a school in Kumamoto. And the school is still going there. And also, they are successful to build the first Lutheran seminary in Kumamoto as well. So it's really start to grow. When it starts growing, we need somebody to water. They needed more missionaries to come and help with this ministry. So they sent more missionaries. And especially I want to lift up the female missionaries were sent there. And those names for female missionaries this morning. Somebody has the names of two different names of M. Both are start with M. M. Paulus. Come on up. And M. Akard. Not yet. You're not yet. No, you're not yet. You're not yet. You're not yet. Okay, but that you got the M. Paulus and Annie Paulus. Great. Did anybody get the Akard? Yeah, Akard. Yep. So that's somewhere in the water because they are the giving the water people. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about the, those two. Martha B. Akard. She was one of the first female missionary, was commissioned and sent from Savannah, Georgia. At that time, this is what I learned as I was reading, that women's group was very active and passionate about sending female missionaries to Japan, so that she is one of them supported by to send to Japan. And she was a kindergarten principal, and she became the school principal at the Lutheran school in Kumamoto, where I went from junior high school, and junior college. She was the first principal up there. And the other female missionary, Maud Paulus, and her sister, Annie Paulus, those two are very influential in terms of ministry in Kumamoto. They built orphanage children's homes in Kumamoto, which is called GIN. It means Garden of Mercy and Love. So she saw that the needs of those orphans, there's a lot of orphans, and Japan was very poor at that time. There's a lot of orphans, and she also supported the women and girls who were trafficked into prostitution, and she also cared for the abandoned elderly. So those two sisters worked very hard and built multiple children's homes while they are there. And there are little connection with us with Maud Paulus and Annie Paulus. their niece is living in South Carolina. She is the current treasurer of South Carolina Web. I met her when the Webber conference meeting in September at St. Nicholas. She came and said, "Are you really from Japan?" And I said, "Yes, I'm from Japan." And she said, my aunt was the missionary to Japan. And she told me the Lord Paulus is her aunt. I was like, really? Because Maud Paulus and Annie Paulus, they dedicated their life to serve for the people in Japan. And the children home they built, the Garden of Mercy and Love, is still there. When I was junior high, we went there for Christmas time for the nursing home with the little card. And they're still having the nursing home, senior apartment, children's homes are going. So their impact is still growing in Japan. And if you have chance to watch the video, you will meet Reverend Hitoshi Adachi and his wife Sadako, who is the current missionaries that we are supporting. The church they serve is the church came out from the Garden of Mercy and Love, which Maud Paulus and Annie Paulus built. You see, it's still this God's ministry, it's going around in here. But this is not just those missionaries who made things work. The one important one who's watered and still watering is the one which author you got in. Could you say what it is? Show to people what those are, people could see. South Carolina Lutherans and plus Alpha. Our prayers are interested to learn about it and any part of support which is pouring the water to it. Also, could you come and put that one out there? Somewhere close to the water? Yeah, that's there. That's fine. Thank you. So as we read in the scripture, Paul planted, Apollos watered, and God gave the growth. We are still here and walking, and if we continue to do that, the ministry in there will grow and grow and grow. To tell the truth, Japanese church is very small. It's not comparable. It's very small, less than 1% of populations are Christians, and among Lutherans are really smaller than that. But to me, God is still working on it to grow. Even we are still small, little small branches coming, but it's still going. So that's what, is the ministry in Japan. And I hope you have some interest about that. And if you already want to learn more about it, I found some more resources you can look into. So just find me to talk to you about that and give you those informations. And if you can read Japanese, I have more resources I can read to you as well. There are plenty of those. But I have some English one I found as well. And I want to say thank you. This is a story that God's ministry is going through. It's so many people's hands and prayers are into it, and love is in there, and it's so much mean to me. So I appreciate you took the part of it to tell the story, and I would like to end and leave with the scripture. This is from the First Corinthians, the second reading, the verse 8 and 9. The one who plants and the one who waters have a common purpose. Skip. For we are God's servants, working together. And all God's people say, Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Those who joined through the Facebook Live, thank you for joining. Oh, let me show you what we did. That's what we did, and you are part of here. We continue to work and grow in God's love. Thank you so much, and you have a blessed week. 神様のご加護が皆様の上にありますように。See you next Sunday.